Hi everyone, it's Mixopolis Chanoble. Here I am reacting to another Gnoggin video. This time it's all about a fire type Pokemon.
Goes without saying. Man, this intro is bad. So what is the fire type all about? What are the origins
Here's an example of a fire type Pokemon.
In other words,
basically one of the fastest Pokemon,
the fire type,
which is a monkey.
Which ones probably shouldn't be? Okay, so we know that fire types have a mastery over fire, but so does man when we stole it from the gods.
Caveman SpongeBob.
Fire has always been a huge part of our past
from
and will be a good portion of our future if current climate trends continue. Well, the fire type is almost an homage to its great destructive power, yet also contains many Pokemon that help create rather than destroy. Just as volcanoes erupt and destroy their surroundings, they bring up fertile nutrients for future generations. And then there's the fire that burns down pine forests, opening the pine cones and allowing them to seed. It's a circle of life at its finest. Fun fact, in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, Sinnoh only has two naturally occurring fire-type lines, the starter Chimchars and Ponyta. And as much as that makes sense, given that Sinnoh is the coldest of the regions visited so far, it still kinda sucked. And with the mention of Chimchar and Ponyta, we can jump right into the list, which is listed by category rather than Pokedex number. And the first category of Pokemon are Pokemon that are literally on fire or have literal fire on or around their bodies, thus making their fire type extremely obvious. And note, this excludes Megas. We're just going to clump Megas in with their original forms. First up in this category, we have Ponyta and Rapidash. How majestic. Now this is a prime example of Gen 1 design.
And Rapidash.
It's a horse that's on fire. Just imagine the first guy who saw that and thought,
like horses.
Ride that thing. I mean, it's crazy enough to ride a real horse, but a horse that's on fire? Come on, girl, where'd you get that idea? But this really brings out the fire type. Its mane and tail and bits of hair around the hoof are ablaze. Why, you may ask? Well, there are a few theories that also apply to other flaming mons. It could be due to its environment near volcanoes. It simply catches on fire. Another possibility is that it produces the heat due to the speed it runs, really getting its heated blood going. Thus, a byproduct is the flames along the body. These flames could possibly also be a way for the animal to cool itself by releasing its own heat. But the byproduct, of course, is it spontaneously combusts. Rapidash seems to be based off of nightmares, along with plenty other mythoses of fiery steeds. And notable, this fire is easily controlled by them. We can see in the anime, Ash is able to ride them no problem after the horse trusts him. Next up are Cyndaquil, Quilava, and Typhlosion. These cute little guys are a shrew, Paka, and a badger. They all have small holes in their body. And known as the volcano Pokemon, these little dudes seem to erupt with fire when they get serious. Well, as serious as a cute little stoat could. Better watch out though, or they'll burn ya. But as to why these animals are inherently fire type,
be careful, dog.
Well, I'm stumped. They should be fire for sure, as they have fire jetting out of their body, but any origins relating to these animals really isn't there. The only notable thing is that badgers, particularly honey badgers, are extremely aggressive and dangerous, and have a chunk of skin on the back of their necks that is very dangerous to grab, as it can just turn around despite that and attack you. In Typhlosion's case, it just erupts in flames. Now, presumably, most Pokemon in this category create heat as a byproduct, but either the environment hits them up further, or its spontaneous combustion point is rather low. Now, I keep saying combustion point, but let me explain real quick. Essentially, the object or Pokemon has self-heating properties, or is able to auto-ignite its flammable substance, much like how large manure piles give off mass amounts of methane that in the sun could heat up and eventually just catch fire. Most of these Pokemon that are on fire must release a gas or secrete a solution that is able to catch fire easily. Even vegetable oil can spontaneously combust.
Catch on fire. Even flammable objects.
Crazy, and when you get into magic
they're
with
lethal
like
explosives.
Up genetics, anything is possible. We have glow-in-the-dark fish now. Who's to say in a world where creatures can create electricity, couldn't some of them just use a little electricity and ignite their jet-propelled fuel?
Here's electric buzz.
Are fire types just bad electric types? Emboar, just Emboar, no one else in its line, have flames on their body. It's based off of a fire pig demon from the famous story Journey to the West, Zhubaji. Emboar is loyal to his friends, much like Zhu.
And here's
in fact,
that
Pokedex
fire.
Goes into detail about its fire and states, It can
Based
throw
on
a
fairy
fire
tale
punch by
character
setting
from
its
Journey to
fists
the
on
West.
fire with its fiery chin.
For
It
those who
cares
don't know,
deeply about its friends.
it's a giant's
It has
fairy tale.
mastered fast and powerful fighting moves.
I've been
It
watching
grows a beard of
Alexander
fire.
the Great
And if you don't think
when I
that's
was
just the
little.
coolest thing, you can leave.
It's a
Lighting
common
its fists on
anime
fire with a
movie.
flaming beard is mega cool. Magmar and Magmortar are stupid buttheads. Based off of a duck, maybe a booby, and a mythical beast known as the Kurura. They are said
These
to live in
two
magma, and
Pokemon
really,
were
maybe they should
kind
also
of
be
like
the
a
ground
duck.
type, as magma is molten rock that is under the Earth's crust. Also, because
That's
of that
true.
definition, shouldn't it be Lavmar
The
and
core
Lavmortar,
is
as they
under all
clearly
that
live above
earth.
ground? As to why they are fire type, well, they have fire on them, and I have yet to see something that's in lava and not catch fire. Heck, even lava catches on fire. Chimchar, Monferno, and Infernape are always
And
monkeying around.
here's Chimchar and
It's so
its
hard to keep
evolution.
track. Anyways, these simians are based off of Sun Wukong from the very popular story Journey to the West. Also, headcanon,
That's
they are
true.
fire type because they are
They're
based off of
also based
Sun
is
Wukong.
another character from
I
Journey
mean, the
to the
sun is
West. In
practically
this
the best
case,
fire type in our solar
the
system.
monkey
Realistically,
himself,
though, they
the
are fire
Monkey
type because
King.
Infernape shares many similarities to Hanuman, which is thought to be an inspiration for Sun Wukong. From the Hindu epic Ranayama, Hanuman was granted immunity to fire, and thus can use it safely. As for Litwick, Lampent, and Chandelure, well, I can say that these three are some of the very few fire types that are not red or orange. But being based off of ghostly fire, I understand why they
based
opted
on
to
a
be
candle,
spookier bluish purple. Based on Kodama, the eastern version of the western will-o-wisps, their fire type comes from the ghostly flame atop their bodies. Will of the Wisps, or its informal name, will-o-wisps, is a folk tale of flickering ghostly light that can be seen late into the night, leading travelers to safety or astray. Plus, I mean, it's a candle, a lamp, and a chandelier. Of course it's on fire. As for Darumaka and Darmanitan, while its basic
and here
evolution
is
should not be in its
Darumaka
category, nor its Zen mode,
and
Darmanitan gains a spot here because of its
evolution.
great flaming eyebrows. I
You know
mean,
that
look at those
Darumaka.
things. Wonderful.
It's
Being
based
off
on
of
the
Daruma
doll
in Buddhism, the
here.
gist of their importance is this. They are used to set goals, similarly to New Year's resolutions. Upon setting the goal, you fill in one of their eyes. Once completed, you fill in the second. And as the new year begins, you burn your Dharma doll and start it all over again. These Pokemon get their fire typing then because of this ceremony.
That's true.
The Zen mode
Dadia
is simply when the Dharma doll is not on fire, and we'll cover Darumaka now anyway, as it's also just the doll when not ablaze. But notably, this thing's
There's
poops
even
are flaming hot, very warm, so much so that some people would use them for warmth in ancient times.
as
Which
God's
sounds gross,
will.
but it's not that far off from what some people did with cow pies. Charmander, Charmeleon, Charizard, and its megas are the classic fire-breathing lizards with a flame at the tip of their tail. The premier,
Yahweh,
the
Ash, and
real
Freed
OG
has
lizard,
one.
the main man himself, Chorizo.
And
It's
even
totally not a
Leon
dragon at
has
all.
one.
Its tail is on fire, like always. And we all know that if its tail goes out, it dies, which sounds kind of sucky for an entire species. What even is their survivability? How did they even evolve to this point with such a glaring weakness? Anyway, we can gather from Charmander's name and the lack of a dragon typing that they are based on the flaming salamander myth. Fun fact, that myth may have been caused by early humans finding logs on the ground, igniting them for a fire, not knowing that a salamander was taking refuge in the log, so when the salamander runs away from its burning home, it creates the myth of salamanders being birthed from flame. Early humans were not the
That's
brightest,
true.
and later in evolution we see
Salamanders
Charizard with a more
open
draconic
flames.
influence. And we all know that dragons were believed
Even
to have
the
been able
fire-
to breathe fire. And I'm
fire
sure I don't need to
chimney.
explain how a dragon breathes fire. That would get rid of a later video.
And
Also, I'm
that's right.
sure there's also tons of
Charizard may
videos
look
about
like a
that all
dragon,
over
but
the
it's
internet.
not
But speaking of
exactly a
flaming
dragon
flying
type.
Pokemon, Moltres, the flame
here's
Pokemon, is one
Moltres.
of the 3 legendary birds. Being born of fire, Moltres shares many similarities to a phoenix. You know, the bird from Harry Potter. But did you know that it's also found throughout all sorts of
there's
historical
also a
myths and
gallery
studies,
Moltres.
like alchemy? Well, in
This
these myths,
Pokemon
the phoenix is said to have been a
Horizon
bird that was able to be born from its own ashes. Even the Pokedex entry for Moltres hints to this, saying that if the Pokemon is injured, it can dip its body in the molten magma of a volcano to burn and heal itself.